Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about companies that use collections and series items as a way to get us to buy their stuff. Does that kind of make sense? Let me explain a little bit further. Okay, so you might buy a palette and it has a particular theme or it has a particular type of packaging, and then they bring out the next in the series or the next in the collection, and because you've already got the first one, you then want to go and get the second one, and then a few months later they go and they bring out another one in that line. And there are some people who cannot help but want to complete the collection, and now it's kind of getting scary because it's kind of like, when is the collection going to come to a halt so I don't have to give this company any more of my money? I don't know. So this is in no particular order, by the way, but this is just what I have found, especially as there's so many people who are like me who just want to complete collections, and sometimes you don't even necessarily care about what is inside the palette. You just want to complete the collection, otherwise it feels wrong. The first that I thought of was the Makeup Revolution chocolate bar palettes. This was the palette that made me think about and gave me the idea for this video. Recently they brought out their 24K gold palette, and I did a video on that, and I think now this is the 14th palette, but I'm kind of like, when is this gonna come to an end? I mean, I've got all of the palettes, and now it's getting to a point where I feel like if I don't get the next one, buying all of the rest of them would have just been redundant. So I'm just gonna continuously be buying these palettes, and not all of them are my cup of tea. They're not all my kind of shades. Like, there's palettes in this range which are very cool toned. I don't always draw for cool toned palettes, but they keep on coming at me with this packaging, the chocolate bar with the drips, and I absolutely adore it. And once you buy the first one, you want to buy the second one, you want to buy the third one, and now I'm up to 14 or 15 now. It's crazy. Obviously we know that they are being a dupe of the Too Faced chocolate bar palette. That's where they started, and melt straight into the Too Faced chocolate bar palette because they do the exact same thing too. They came out with the chocolate bar palette, and I remember the tin used to be like this thick, and then not long after they came out with the semi-sweet chocolate bar palette, which looked exactly the same as the chocolate bar palette. So it kind of it's in the same family, and if you got one, you kind of want to get the other. And then not long after that they brought out the chocolate bonbons. Now this one was a little bit different. I think the front of the tin was baby pink and it had hearts instead of chocolate bar squares, but it was still part of the family. And by the time they brought out the semi-sweet chocolate bar palette, they had made the palette like this thin, and they repackaged the first original palette to be this thin instead of this thick. So now all of them are looking the exact same. They're the exact same size, they're the exact same theme, which is around chocolate. All of them smelt like chocolate as well. And then after that they came out with the peaches one, and even though the peaches one is not the exact same as the chocolate bar series, it was very similar in a sense that instead of the chocolate bar squares, they had the peaches instead, and it smelt like the peaches, and it was the exact same size, the same thickness of the tin, everything, and you just kind of want to lay them together, and it's like it's part of the collection. But did you really want to have all of those palettes? That brings me to the Lorac Pro series, the Pro palettes. At first it was the black one, and then they had the grey one, and then after a while I think they got, was it a baby pink one as well? And it's the same thing. As soon as you get the first one, you get the second one, and then you want to get the third one. And I've heard so many people on YouTube and on Instagram say that they got these other palettes because they had the first one and then they bought the second one. It just kind of feels incomplete for them not to have the third one. I really respect people who can not be pulled in by this. Sadly, I'm not one of those people. But that brings me to the Lorac Mega Pro palettes as well. What did they do? They had the red one, and that one I think they had really limited quantities of that one. And then they brought out the blue one, and I think these ones were seasonal if I remember correctly. Were they only bringing these out like Christmas time? So they brought the first one out at Christmas and then the second one out, something like that. I think they were bringing like one out every year. I think it was at Christmas time, but I might be wrong. And then they brought out the number 3, which was white with rose gold writing. Oh my gosh, that I have to say, that was beautiful. And then they brought out a pink one. Number 4 was a pink one, and I saw the colors in there and I thought, oh no, I don't really like those anyway. I don't have any of the Mega Pros, but I do see people who have number 1, number 2, number 3, weren't keen on number 4 but got number 4 anyway, because then they would have felt like they didn't complete the collection. And this is kind of the same with the Tarte Tartlet series. I wanted to get the Tarte Tartlet palette but decided not to, and that was simply because of that purple ombre. And then they brought out the Tartlet in Bloom, and the shades look pretty much the same. And then they brought out Tartlet Toasted, and then when you open them up and you look at them all, it's kind of like, is there much of a variation? Again, people are buying all 3 of them because it's part of the series, it's part of the collection. And it's the same with the Urban Decay Vice palettes. I do believe that these ones came out around Christmas time. I don't remember what all of them look like. I remember there was one with this beautiful orange and gold shimmer shade that I was just kind of like going bananas over, and I was kind of thinking to myself, should I buy this palette for that one shade? And I said to myself, Sinead, that is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Why are you gonna buy a whole palette for that one shade? But I would have bought it. But do you know what the kicker was that made me decide, no, I'm not going to buy it? It was the fact that I didn't have any of the other Vice palettes, and it would have felt incomplete for me to have this one Vice palette and none of the others. So I skipped on it. You know, I absolutely love Juvia's, and I know there's going to be like 100,000 people who think the exact same way as I do. Their palettes, even though they're not a series as such, but the artwork is so similar to one another, and it's so beautiful as well that you feel like, okay, I've got to get all of these palettes because the artwork is so beautiful. The standard palettes have the main girl in the middle and then 2 faded ones either side. You'll see it in one of the pictures up here that I throw up here. And they do have a couple of palettes which are a little bit different to this, but just the artwork, having that artwork just makes me want to collect them all. I just want to collect them all. Oh, how can we forget the Urban Decay Naked series? They had the original Naked, and then they had another, what was the next one? That whole Naked series. I mean, it was iconic. Let's just keep it 100. It was just iconic. And I think that these were one of the first, between this series and the Lorac Pro palette, those were like the 2 first series or collection themed based palettes that I saw anyway. That was just iconic, and they're still going along with that whole naked theme. They had recently, their last one was the Naked Heat. I don't think as many people like the Naked Heat. That was like one of the most iconic collection or series based palettes ever, and everyone felt like they had to have the whole collection in order to feel complete. I understand it, I really do. Oh, the Too Faced Peach series collection. So they had the Peach palette, the original Peach palette, which was packaged just like the chocolate bar palettes. And then they came out with the Peachy Mattes. And then they came out with the White Peach palette. So it's kind of like those last 2, the Peachy Matte and the White Peach, like they were packaged the exact same. They were packaged the exact same. And I feel like they are trying to start another series. Like, what are they gonna call the next one? What are they gonna call it? What is it gonna be? Peach Pit? Peach Leaf? Like what is it going to be? They're gonna do something else with these peaches. Peach Shimmer, and it will probably be in the exact same packaging as these 2. But I definitely see that they're trying to start another series. They're probably coming away from the whole chocolate bar thing, and now they're trying to start a whole new peach revolution. Oh, lastly, I don't know if everybody else has cottoned onto this, but the whole Anastasia Modern Renaissance, thing, even though it was never officially a series or a collection. They came out with the Modern Renaissance, and they had the Subculture palette, and they said that the Subculture palette was supposed to be the sister palette to the Modern Renaissance. And then they came out with the Prism palette, and then they came out with the Soft Glam, and they're all packaged the exact same way. They all have that velvet soft feel packaging. The layout of the inside of the palette is the exact same, and again I feel like everyone's kind of being hit with that gotta collect them all kind of vibe, and I think they're winning with this. I really do think that they're winning. I think all of these companies are winning with this, because they're really grabbing people and making them feel like I have to have the whole collection, otherwise it's just not worth my time and it's not worth my money. I mean, as I said, I feel like I have to collect all of the Juvia's Place palettes, even though yes, their stuff is amazing, but it's just the psychology of it that we have to collect everything that's in a collection, otherwise there's like a hole. I completely get it, because I suffer from it. They got us. For those of you who is not, because I know there's a lot of people who are not bothered by packaging, they buy what they like based on the colors rather than just what the outer packaging is like. But I definitely look at outer packaging first before I look at anything that's inside, and something could look amazing inside, but if the outer packaging is rubbish, I don't even bother with it at all. I just leave it in the dust. So let me know if you're somebody who feels like they have to complete a collection. Let me know if you're somebody who they don't have to complete a collection, they just buy what they want to buy. Let me know what kind of person that you are. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.